I want to talk about all of the jobs that you can wear cowboy boots at. And really, it boils down to pretty much every single job. And I really don't see there being any disadvantages of wearing cowboy boots for your job unless it's super athletic, like if you're a basketball player. Like, you're probably not going to be wearing cowboy boots out on the court. But I got so many more examples of industries where cowboy boots are perfect. So let's get into it.
Old boots got soul, and I carry on this way, and we get better every day.
Of course, we got to start out with cowboys, right? I mean, cowboys are the folks who have tested the boot, who have made it what it is, the cowboy boot. It is as durable because it needs to hold up to the work that cowboys and ranchers do every single day. So, of course, I had to start there. I know it might be a cop-out to some of you guys, but come on, we got to give mad respect because that's a hard job, and you need some quality boots so that you can do those hard jobs. Then we got farmers, right? Of course, there's good boots for farmers, just like there is for the ranchers and the cowboys too. Now, you might need a little lower heel, depending on the kind of farming that you're doing, like maybe a stockman heel, maybe 1 3/8 to 1 inch, just because you don't want to be on a heel like this, a 2-inch heel, walking around like a field or something. It's not good. That's not what the heels are for. So you need to have a shorter heel, but farmers can definitely get away with wearing cowboy boots as well. Laborers, of course, these are work boots. These Hondo 78, 75 work boots. They're good for landscaping. I was doing some weed whacking. We were in the Bobcat for the video. Whatever you do, whatever labor it is, whether it is landscaping or some other sort of odd jobs here and there, you can wear boots. Like, it's awesome. That 1 3/8 heel is the perfect height too. It's not too tall, but it still gives you a good amount of support as well. So we got that. And of course, construction workers, working our way up the labor there, you got awesome options when it comes to steel toe boots in the cowboy boot world. Now we're starting to get into more Western boot stuff, right? But you have steel toe options, which is huge, and it means that you get the comfort of a cowboy boot, but also the safety of a work boot as well. You gotta love the Western work boot. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of the steel toe mechanics, they can also get away with wearing the cowboy boot, but you gotta make sure it fits. You don't want to be slipping around in your boots or anything. In fact, a lot of companies, a lot of shops and stuff won't let you wear slip-on boots just because they're afraid that they might actually slip off. That's not supposed to be the case. A good-fitting cowboy boot is supposed to be snug at the instep, which means it's not going to fly off. So you got to make sure you have the right size if you're going to be working in cowboy boots. But if you do decide to, you have some good support. You got some steel toe opportunities with cowboy boots in the mechanic world. Like, you guys, there's so many options out there. You know what I'm saying? Electricians too. Some of you folks out there are electricians, and not only do you get the work boot style, but there are also several models that you can find that have the shock protection, right? The electric shock protection. Now, I just think it's incredible how many options you have in the Western boot world, and this is why I say that there is a boot for every single industry for the most part. Then you can find it. Moving on, we have the truck drivers. Now, I know a lot of you out there are truck drivers. Maybe you're taking a break. Ray, I'm looking at you. Moses, I'm looking at you. You know what I'm saying? truck drivers, guys, there isn't really much more comfortable of a boot when you're driving than a Cowboy boot. I've been on tour 5 to 6 times, so I've done a lot of driving myself. You gotta have a comfortable boot if you're gonna be driving all of the time. You don't want your toes like pinched up, which is why I feel like square toes are good options for drivers, because you have a lot of room in the toe box when you're driving. That doesn't mean that you have to go with a square toe, but I think that's where a lot of the popularity comes from with truck drivers, is you got a lot of room there. I always went with medium round when I was driving around with the Boulay. My first Boulay was pretty much my main boot. I always chose my most comfortable boot when I was going on tour, the most reliable. So truck drivers, awesome options out there for you for working as well. Engineers. Now we're switching things up a little bit. Now I'm talking about all types of engineers. I'm talking about even software engineers. So some of you folks out there are software engineers too. It is a very popular job, very hard job, and very respectable, just like all of these others are. And now we're starting to get into the territory of more white collar boots, where you can start playing around with exotics a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to play around with exotics in the office, you just get a little bit more confidence, and people approach you a little bit differently, because if you have your boot game and it's on point and your confidence is on, everything just falls in line and you're able to achieve so much more, no matter what your job is. If you are in the white collar world, which leads me to the office pros like marketing specialists or accountants or product managers out there. I used to love wearing my cowboy boots in the office. I did it all the time when I worked as a marketing specialist, whether it be as an in-house marketer or when I worked at agencies. I think it gives you a different approach to things. Like, people don't expect to see cowboy boots in the office place. Maybe they do down in Texas or in the Southwest a little bit more, but not up north. And when you do that and you pull it off right, you get a lot more confidence day to day and a lot more respect too. I feel like a lot of people overlook what they're wearing on their feet in the office, and sometimes it comes across as a little bit amateur. So if you're wearing boots, you don't get taken for an amateur, even if you are one. You get away with it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Then we have medical professionals, nurses, doctors. Guys, when I'm on Twitter, I see a bunch of different tweets about how people's doctors or nurses are wearing cowboy boots with their scrubs. And sometimes the patients they're kind of confused by it, like they don't get it. But a lot of times the patients just feel more comfortable with who they're dealing with. Like, if the person is confident and comfortable in the footwear that they choose to wear, even if it's with scrubs, then they're going to be accepted by their patients much more easily than if they were just like in some uncomfortable shoe, right? So it comes down to what you're comfortable in, and I feel like more medical professionals need to be wearing cowboy boots, just because, one, it's badass, and why wouldn't you trust a doctor or a nurse who's got cowboy boots on? Like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, of course, I want my doctors to wear cowboy boots. Come on now, right? I would trust you if you were my doctor. Lawyers, like, is there any better industry to wear cowboy boots where you need to have that gusto? I mean, I think it's one of the most ridiculous boots, but also the best boot to wear as a lawyer is the alligator boot. Like, you come across as knowing your shit through and through, not to mess with that lawyer. You gotta love a lawyer in cowboy boots, right? And finally, Teachers are awesome in cowboy boots. I know some of you are teachers out there. I was going to be a teacher. I originally went to school to be a teacher until I changed my majors. I remember the teachers who wore cowboy boots, who were my teachers. I remember them, and I remember the fact that, you know, they had cowboy boots, and it was like no big deal to them, right? They're just wearing their cowboy boots, but like those teachers just knew their shit, right? They not only knew their curriculum and their subject, but it was just like you didn't question them. You just listened. Like the captive attention was there, right? More teachers need to be wearing cowboy boots too, if you can afford it, with the way that teachers are paid nowadays. Mad respect to the teachers out there. And of course, I want to finish things out with the small business owners. In any of these industries that I just mentioned, there are small business owners, and of course, each and every one of you can wear cowboy boots as well, and maybe it will make you more confident in your day-to-day, because there's a lot of things in a small business that can go haywire, and it can make you a little bit nervous, but at least you got a good, supportive, quality, durable piece of footwear on your feet that you know can handle day-to-day, and it's one less thing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Did I forget about anybody? Put it in the chat. Lifeguards. How you swimming in cowboy? You gotta have like a super wide square triple stitched welt if you're gonna be lifeguarding in cowboy boots. Use those suckers as flippers, you know what I'm saying?
There's boots for every job, boots to keep you on top, to keep you safe and in control of your fate. Get some boots for your job. Yeah, get your boots for your job today. Yeah.